Hey everybody, Al Gattullo here. We're up to episode number 7, 5, and 2. See, 2, or I could do 2. That equals 7. This is the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Videocast. And man, let me tell you something. Some great beers I picked up this week. And one of those great beers that we're going to test out, you and I, for the first time, or actually, just me, let's be honest. I'm going to be drinking it. Death by Coconut from Oskar Blues Brewery. It's an Irish porter. Heard a lot about this. I'm actually pretty excited to try it. I've heard some good things. Spoke to one of my buddies, Adam, over at Oskar Blues Brewery, and he told me, he's one of their New York reps, he told me this is great. I also picked up some 1050, which is one of their other popular brands of Russian Imperial Porter, but he told me, he said, get a couple of cans, stick them away of the 1050 for about a year and let it age. It tastes even better. So we'll get to the 1050 at some point down the road. But today, it's Death by Coconut, an Irish porter. Again, remember, we're talking porters and stouts right now because it's that time of year to talk about that stuff because it's cold and, you want to start getting into, some a little bit of a heavier beer while you're sitting around at night looking for something to drink. So we'll get into that in just a couple of minutes. Remember, we're talking all about craft beer and why you should be drinking craft beer instead of that other swill that's out there, the Budweisers and the Coors Lights and the Coronas. You know what? Corona in a pinch with a lime, but really, honestly, when you can drink such great beer from some great breweries all over this great country of ours, why wouldn't you want to have a craft beer? Now, what is craft beer? Well, simple. Craft beer, small. It's an annual production of 6 million barrels or less. It's independent. Less than 25% of the craft brewery is owned by a big beer maker. And finally, traditional. It's down-to-earth ingredients and fermentation. You can follow me on Twitter at Al Gattullo. That's at Al Gattullo, ALGATTULLO, and give you the latest on craft beers, and I throw some sports in there as well. I cover the Giants and Jets when they're home for ESPN Radio during the football season. So a little bit of information. I try not to pester you too much with a lot of information on Twitter. Facebook is where I do most of my work, but I only friend people on Facebook that I actually know. So Twitter is the easiest way to follow me at Al Gattullo. So again, Death by Coconut from Oskar Blues Brewery. And we'll get into some other stuff, some craft beer terms as well. ABV, which is alcohol by volume. IBU, International Bittering Units. And, I go over this every week because I want people to know part of the reason why you drink craft beer. The alcohol is usually a little bit stronger. Depending on how bitter a beer is will depend on your personal palate. Some people like bitter beers, like India Pale Ales. Some people like less bitter beers, like porters and stouts. So, I want to educate you a little bit as well, and we'll get into food pairings with this particular porter as well. So, Oskar Blues Brewery, a great little brewery created in 2002 in Colorado, in Lyons, Colorado. They started with Dale's Pale Ale in a can. Now, all of Oskar Blues brews are in cans. And the reason why is because they feel that the can keeps their beer fresher, longer, by eliminating light and also oxygen getting in there because it's sealed when you have a bottle cap. Maybe sometimes a little bit of oxygen can seep in if the cap isn't sealed properly, and it's easier to recycle. That's from them, guys. That's why they like it in the can, and they don't like it in a bottle. I just said they like it in a can. Well, you can take those jokes out too. We're talking beer. We're not talking sex. Anyway, so we're talking Death by Coconut now. Their brewery is in Colorado, in Lyons, Colorado, but they also have another one in Brevard, North Carolina, and they're opening a brewery and a taproom music venue in Austin, Texas, coming up in April of 2016. So very cool, pretty much covering all of the nation. Colorado for the West Coast, Texas for the Mideast of the United States, and then of course North Carolina for the East Coast. Now, their website, oskarblues.com. And again, as I said, they like to have all of their beer in cans. Death by Coconut from Oskar Blues Brewery. We're going to be checking this out, an Irish porter, in just a moment. Now, the ABV, which is the alcohol by volume of Death by Coconut, is 6.5%. So it's pretty strong, and which is good. Listen, have a couple of cans, nice night, relax. Not a good idea to drink and drive. It's always not a good idea to drink and drive. And the International Bittering Units is 25, so it's low on the bittering scale. Now, they're telling me this beer, you've got a lot of coconut aromas, obviously Death by Coconut. It's a semi-sweet with loads of dark chocolate in it and a little bit of dark caramel malt. And it's a limited release, so it's only around for a short period of time. So if you see it, you better grab it, because if you don't, you're going to be out of luck. So we're going to pop the can. I'm going to pop the can right here. And I get a very big hint of coconut when I first crack it open. Now, normally I would put it in a porter glass, but for this, I'm going to put it in a pint glass, and here's why. Because I'm going to pour this as a heavy pour to really get the foamy head of this porter. So I'm going to let that go. I'm going to get that all the way up there. There's a nice, it's a fairly big head on this here. And they the term they use here, pass dash hit. Pass it, dash, drink it, hit it, and go hit another one. So we're going to let the head go down just a tad there on that, and then we're going to give that a nice, big, long sip. It's interesting. I've had Oskar Blues Brewery before. I've had their Pinner IPA, which is actually pretty good. And, it's interesting. You say to yourself, beer in a can. When you see beer in a can, you think, Budweiser cans, Coors Light cans, things of that nature. They feel that their beer is fresher because it's in a can. And you know what? I have to say their IPA is very good. I don't recall if I've ever had a Dale's Pale Ale. I probably have, but honestly, I don't remember it. It's kind of a non-rememberable beer for me. But their Pinner IPA is actually very good. So we're going to give this one, Death by Coconut, a real good sip now. As I smell, wow! I mean, it almost smells like I've just cracked open a huge coconut. I can really, really get the coconut flavor, that kind of, a little bit of chocolate on the nose. All right, let's give it a sip. Wow, that is interesting. I really expected with the coconut, a heavier taste, and I don't really get that. It's lighter, and you definitely don't taste a lot of bitterness. You taste chocolate, definitely get a strong chocolate back end. That is very smooth. That is very, very smooth. That goes down nice. You really get, at the beginning of it, you get a really, the coconut really hits you. And then as you swallow, the chocolate just kind of lingers there, almost like a chocolate bar melting in your mouth. It kind of just, it lingers, and you just taste that chocolate. And the coconut really goes away. If you're not a big coconut fan, I can understand that, but you don't really get an overpowering coconut. Yes, you smell it in the nose. When you smell it, you get it in the taste when you initially sip it. But honestly, as soon as it goes down, it's chocolate. I mean, you can really, really taste the chocolate. That is a fantastic beer. Only comes in a 4-pack, which I'm a little disappointed in. I'd love it in a 6-pack. But man, that is very good. Death by Chocolate, Irish Porter. I got to tell you, I don't really have a beer scale. I don't like to have a beer scale of 1 to 10 or things of that nature. That is something that I can enjoy, a couple of those on a nice, chilly night, little fire going. That is fantastic, folks. I urge you to go get this. I picked this up in Total Wines in Union, New Jersey. And if you can, search around, get it. It is fantastic. That is a really good Irish Porter. It is excellent. I very much enjoy it. Now, what can you pair food-wise with this particular beer? Let's start, if you're having some friends over and you want to have a little bit of cheese. Some Asiago, a Brie, nice Colby, maybe an aged Gouda would be perfect with this particular beer. Now, with foods, most of the time with porters and stouts, it's stuff on the barbecue. Beef, chicken, and fish, maybe some sausage. Chili goes excellent with this beer. Stews, very hearty type of stews. And for dessert, if you want to go dessert, last week we talked about dark chocolate cakes. Cheesecake with this would be perfect. The coconut cheesecake, That is an absolute winner, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something. That is a winner. Death by Coconut from Oskar Blues Brewery, Irish Porter. This is fantastic. Let me tell you something. This is one of those ones you got to get it as soon as you can because it's very limited. Grab it, get it, drink it. It is delicious. Thanks to my buddy Adam from Oskar Blues Brewery, giving me a couple of tips on some of the stuff from Oskar Blues. It was after I bought it, but he was a big help as well, and I really appreciate that. Now, some other things as we wrap up here on the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast number 7. We're still looking for a name for the show. I'm going to list some names on here. And maybe if you want to hit me up on Twitter at Al Gattullo or just comment in the comment section in YouTube, that would be great. Now, my favorite place that I love going to over in Clark, New Jersey, Paragon Tap and Table. They got some events coming up in December that I really think you should be a part of. I know they're doing a First Responders Night. I believe that's next week, if I'm not mistaken. Next Wednesday, I think, or next Tuesday. I'm almost positive it's next Wednesday, December 2nd. You check that out if you're a first responder. You get money off your bill there. They're located in Clark, New Jersey. You can check them out online. Paragon Tap and Table. Just do a quick search on Google. You'll check it out. I'll have the website posted on here as well, so this way you can go and check out the link there. Also, December 10th, they're having their Global Beer and Cheer Night. It's the best of their holiday ales. Trogs, I know, is going to be one of them. They're going to have some Sam Adams stuff. They're also having an ugly sweater night. You can win a sweater from Sam Adams. That should be really cool. That's on December 10th. And then on December 16th, it's Bolero Snort Night, a local brewery in New Jersey. They're doing a special cask and really so much more. So if you can check those out, you will really have a good time. Great place to sample beer, over 20 taps. You really should check them out. Mike, the GM over there, awesome guy. And the bartenders, so knowledgeable about craft beer. You really should look them up. Listen, they don't pay me to do this. I do it because I frequent the place. I eat food. I have lunch in there at least once a week. I go to dinner there, as often as I can. They're a great place for food, for beer. You really have to check them out. If you're in the New Jersey area, North Central Jersey, Clark, New Jersey, Paragon Tap and Table, very easy to get to, right off of exit 135 in Clark, New Jersey. Listen, we need sponsors for this show as well. We need, whomever, sponsors, beer, food, whatever. Contact me at Al Gattullo. Listen, I come cheap. You send me some free beer, no problem. Okay? We're going to have lots of other stuff going on in the next couple of weeks. Coronado Brewing is sending me some beer in January that I'm very excited to check out. Also picked up some new stuff from Ballast Point, the Commodore, an American porter, which I actually added to my chili that I made the other day. It came out fantastic. I poured a whole bottle into it in the slow cooker, and it was really good. We're going to check that out in the next couple of weeks, probably next week on the Commodore. And I've got lots of other stuff coming as well. I'm excited. I can't wait. Some stuff from Wolliver's, their Altagrassa coffee porter, which is fantastic. Lots of good beer coming up in the coming weeks. I hope you'll join me, and I hope you'll comment as well. I really would appreciate the feedback, good or bad. Honestly, I can handle it. I love it, good or bad. I would love to get your feedback on it as well. Remember, follow me on Twitter at Al Gattullo, and until next time, this has been the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on YouTube. And folks, since it is the day before Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Take care.